Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to be filming a breastfeeding video. Veda and I are over 5 months into our breastfeeding journey, and I kind of just wanted to talk to anybody who was curious about breastfeeding or bring up some of the challenges that we've gone through, and basically just some simple knowledge about breastfeeding and how it all works. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, then stay tuned and we are going to jump right into it. So the first thing is whenever you give birth, your body is going to produce colostrum. So colostrum is basically like a premature breast milk, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It is filled with antibodies and protein, and it's very thick, so your body may only produce small amounts at a time because it helps coat the baby's stomach and keep them full for longer. So typically for about the first 3 to 4 days, sometimes even a week, depending on your body and your situation, you will only produce colostrum, and it's just like a yellow breast milk. And for me, I produced colostrum for 3 days before my milk came in. Anyways, so my milk came in 4 days after Veda was born, and basically the whole time that we were in the hospital, Veda was cluster feeding, which, if you don't know what cluster feeding is, it's just where the baby nurses practically non-stop all day, trying to get more milk, and that's a good thing because that means that they're helping your supply grow. Breastfeeding is a supply and demand relationship, so the more that the baby is nursing, the more your body will continue to produce milk. So on the 4th day, my mature milk came in, and it was painful. Very, very painful. In my personal experience, I would say that the engorgement from when my milk came in was more painful than the actual act of Veda nursing. The reason I say that is because whenever your milk comes in, it just fills your boobs entirely, like stretches them to the brim, fills them, and they're like rock solid, and that doesn't feel good. So some ways that I helped relieve the pain of the engorgement was, obviously, Veda was nursing, so that kind of took some of the milk out. And then at that point, I had a strict schedule about pumping after she would nurse. So she would nurse and get the milk that she needed to fill herself up, and then I would pump, and I could store that in my fridge or in my freezer. And that is a great way to do things, you guys. Listen to that, because that is what you want to do. Yeah, so another way to relieve engorgement pain, if you have engorgement pain, is to take hot showers, massage your breast, and kind of just get that milk out, because for me that was the biggest thing, was just the pain of having so much milk in there at a time. So that's what I did, and then, like I said, I stayed on a pretty consistent pumping schedule. And this is kind of where I messed up. Alright guys, so it's a little bit later in the day. I had to feed Veda and lay her down her nap, but we're back. She's in jammies, and we're just gonna jump in where I left off. So what I was saying was, I was pretty consistent with pumping after she would nurse, but then I got too tired and I got lazy and I stopped pumping. And just over a couple weeks of not pumping, my supply dropped to where I didn't have an oversupply anymore. I just had enough to feed Veda whenever she was hungry, because when I went to just nursing exclusively, my body kind of caught on, and it was like, okay, so this is how much we need to make to fill the baby. So that's what happened there, and I would say that for the next baby, I definitely will stay consistent with pumping, because it's really nice to have extra milk in the freezer or fridge for whenever she is away from me, or when her dad wants to feed her, things like that. Which I can still pump now, and I do still pump now, but the only reason that I pump now is if she won't nurse, if she's like too tired or too hungry, and she just gets a bottle. Like, I pump and then I put it directly into the bottle, and she eats it like that. So something that I left out earlier on in the video was that you essentially have 2 different types of milk in your boob, aside from colostrum. So the first type is going to be your fore milk, and that is the milk that comes out first when your baby first starts sucking, or when you first start pumping. It's a little bit more thin and watered down, and that milk's purpose is just to quench your baby's thirst. So it's really important that you keep your baby latched on for as long as possible, because not only will they get the fore milk, but they'll also get the hind milk, which is what comes out when you have a letdown. So when you have a letdown, the hind milk will come out, and that type of milk is just a little bit more thick and fatty, so that serves the purpose of the baby's food, and that keeps them full for longer, and that's where most of the nutrients is. So whenever your nurse or somebody tells you like, oh, it has to be a 10-minute or above session of nursing, then listen to them, because typically it takes, you know, a few minutes for your body to have a letdown and for your baby to get that food part of your breast milk. What else was I gonna say? Oh, there was something else that I was gonna tell you guys about, and it has to do with letdowns. So if you have never nursed a baby before, and maybe you're pregnant and thinking about breastfeeding, whenever you have a letdown, it's basically like a tingling sensation, and your boob will get warm, and then it will just like spray. It will just, the floodgates will open, and milk is going everywhere. Because when you have a letdown, it comes out of both boobs at the same time. So like, let's say Veda's nursing on this side and I have a letdown, like obviously she's catching that milk, but on this side I still have milk leaking out. So what you can do is take a Hakka, it has a suction cup on it, and you suction it to your boob, and it catches the milk that comes out of the other side. So that is something that I'll put in the description below for you guys, and I also will put in the description a link to a pillow called My Breast Friend Pillow, and it's basically like a boppy pillow, but I personally like it a lot more because it's more firm, and it also has a back strap. I know that within the first 2 weeks or so, my back was killing me from like bending down and picking up the baby and trying to get her to latch in the right position. So the back strap really helps support you like sit up properly, and it was firm enough to where I could lay Veda down on it and she wasn't sinking into the pillow. So if that's something that you're interested in, check out the description box below, and I will put a link to that. I don't think that I have anything else to share with you guys. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment below. If you have had any crazy letdown experiences, please leave the comments below, because I know there have been plenty of times where Veda was nursing and she stopped in the middle of nursing, and I kind of just drenched her whole face and our whole bed with breast milk. So if anything like that has happened to you, I would love to hear from you all. Stay tuned for my next video. I am actually coming out with a 7-day plant-based eating video. It will be here next week for you guys, so if that's something that you're interested in seeing, then click the notification bell, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye! Bye-bye! Say bye-bye! She's not having it today.